Pause whatever you are working on immediately, because what I am about to bring before this court will fundamentally alter your entire understanding of the forces moving through your life right now. I realize that might sound extraordinary coming from behind the desk of this tribunal, but the spiritual current surrounding your name at this precise moment is completely off the scales. The atmosphere in this room is heavy with revelation. Do not mistake this sudden urgency for the chaotic franticness of the world outside your door. This is the calibrated resonance of a verdict that has already been rendered. The quiet friction you have been feeling in your chest, that persistent tremor in your nervous system that you could not quite name over these past few days, is not evidence that you are unraveling. It is the direct physical frequency of two distinct realities crashing into one another while you sit in silence. Two separate individuals, two entirely distinct figures from completely different chapters of your history, are speaking your name at the exact same moment, totally unaware of each other. Neither of them has any idea that the other is locked in the exact same obsession. As the warden presiding over the ledger of your trials, I am delivering this testimony directly to you, because the intensity of what is registering on the scales is something you need to sit with before this day reaches its end. This shift in momentum is far more potent, far more decisive than anything recorded in your ledger over the past several months. As I map out the current atmosphere, I see two massive opposing forces literally colliding in real time, both waging an intense war for access to your energy, your focus, your aura, and the core essence of who you are. Now hear this, because here is the exact pivot in the evidence that will shock you to your core. You likely believe you have already deduced who these two figures are. Specific names, familiar faces, and old memories are probably flashing through your mind right now as you process these words. However, the tribunal makes it crystal clear that your assumptions are entirely mistaken. Your guesses are not even remotely close. The forces striving to claim space in your atmosphere are not who you think they are, and understanding why they are clashing changes everything about the path ahead of you. Allow me to lay out the evidence in precise detail. What is taking place on the spiritual plane is building an almost suffocating tension in the environment surrounding you. The record confirms that all of those intangible feelings, those sudden heavy intuitive pulls and unexplainable daydreams you brushed aside as exhaustion, are now taking physical shape. These subtle energies are transforming into concrete reality right in front of you. People who once treated your presence as an option are becoming deeply, intensely serious about where you stand, and they are speaking about you behind closed doors with an unprecedented level of gravity. The record opens with the first individual. This is someone who has quietly, meticulously observed your transformation from a distance. They were not the loud adversary or the aggressive presence in your life. They were the silent spectator. This person watched you make the conscious, agonizing decision to choose yourself when staying would have been easier. They saw you turn your back on situations, rooms, and relationships that were far beneath your true value. They watched the entire arc of your healing unfold without offering a single word of comfort. Yet the exact second you stepped into your full self-worth and closed that door for good, something inside them fundamentally fractured. Your decision to walk away transformed you into their highest, most unobtainable aspiration. You suddenly seemed completely out of reach, and for that exact reason, you became the singular thing they desire above all else. That realization is what is driving their intense, almost frantic urgency to win back your focus right now. They crave your exclusive attention and have zero intention of sharing space in your life with anyone else. Absolutely not. This is a proud, high-caliber individual, someone who is accustomed to dictating the terms of their relationships and obtaining whatever they set their sights on through control or charm. Yet, when they look at the wall you built when you walked away, they feel completely disarmed. They feel entirely powerless, and that unfamiliar loss of control is driving them out of their mind. They have been quietly attempting to orchestrate chance encounters or subtle reasons to cross your path, because deep down, the growing distance between you terrifies them to their core. The thought of you moving on, building an empire, and living a completely fulfilled life without them in it fills their entire chest with dread. From the position of this tribunal, I see them constantly searching for excuses to linger on the periphery of your world, but things are not unfolding as smoothly as they planned. The door you shut remains locked, and as a result, they remain stuck in place, forced to watch you while competing fiercely against a rival force with an intensity that borders on obsession. They claim to care about your well-being, but above all, their ego cannot endure the thought of someone else claiming the place they abandoned. Now comes the revelation regarding the second individual, the force that the ledger is shining a heavy, uncompromising light upon. This second person comes directly from the deepest graveyard of your history. I realize people throw that phrase around lightly, but this situation is uniquely dangerous. This is someone who genuinely believed they had moved forward with their life without you. They thought they had successfully written you off, focused on their own path, and established total independence from the bond you once shared. But suddenly, they experienced what can only be described as an abrupt spiritual glitch. Something in their environment broke down, snapping their mind directly back to you with terrifying force. The sheer potency of your presence, even in memory, acts like a relentless magnetic pull that is dragging them back toward your orbit. Try as they might to fight it or rationalize it away, they simply cannot break free from the tether. This is where the tension reaches a boiling point. They are deeply, visibly unsettled by the presence of the first individual. They refuse to lose what they consider their ultimate prize to a competitor. An active, bitter war is taking place between these two forces, and both of them are fully aware of the battle lines. It is crucial you understand that this second person is not returning with humble apologies or tears of repentance. They are not interested in easing back into your world or earning your trust. They are stepping forward out of pure desperation, simply because the thought of someone else claiming your light is entirely unbearable to them. They are staying awake through the dead of night, agonizing over how the world is finally beginning to recognize your brilliance. The very light they tried to dim or take for granted is now radiating so brightly that others are taking notice, forcing them to confront the reality that they blew their only chance. That realization eats away at their pride like acid. They are entirely prepared to fight dirty to reclaim their position in your life. They intend to stake a claim on a connection they feel entitled to, and they will not retreat without a devastating collision. The dynamic between these two reveals the core nature of this trial. One is driven purely by pride and threatened ego, while the other is acting out of a deep, haunting recognition of your true value. One pursues you because you became unattainable. The other pursues you because they realize they can no longer live without what you carried. Within the domain of this tribunal, these two opposing energies are actively clashing and waging war over your horizon. They are in direct, unyielding conflict, and you can feel it. You have been physically sensing the strain and heat of this cosmic clash within your own body. Have you noticed that inexplicable sense of sudden heaviness, or that strange, unyielding urgency over the past few days? It felt as if the very air around you altered its weight without any logical explanation. That sensation is not your anxiety speaking. That heaviness is the direct result of this fierce tug-of-war pulling at your focus, your affection, and your highly valuable energy. The universe is currently using this clash to bring a critical, unshakable truth to light. It is exposing who is genuinely authentic and who was merely playing games with your mind. Looking closer at the first individual, the one silently observing your path from the shadows, the ledger reveals they have been attempting to dig up private details about your life. They crave complete, unrestricted access to your world and want to know every step you take. Nevertheless, hidden motives are beginning to surface despite their calculated efforts to conceal why they suddenly care. Now, let me share what the scales are picking up regarding the private conversations both of them are having about you when they think no one is listening. Both individuals fully acknowledge the significant, crushing hardships you have endured. They are fully aware of the massive life changes, the painful endings, the heavy losses, and the intense, suffocating pressure you faced in silence. These were trials that would have broken, crushed, and permanently humbled most people. Yet, instead of letting those trials destroy your spirit, you allowed them to catalyze a powerful, irreversible personal transformation. In their private moments, they both express that while you never deserved that pain, the resilience, quiet dignity, and cold grace you displayed were nothing short of extraordinary. That remarkable inner strength is precisely why both of them are so desperate to compete for your presence right now. It is what fuels their obsession to be associated with your name. They constantly discuss your healing journey, marveling at how radiant and untouchable you appear today, rather than being extinguished by the storm. The adversity and negativity aimed at you only caused your light to burn hotter, leaving both of them completely awestruck. One of them in particular holds a deep, almost sacred sense of respect toward you. Their perception of who you are carries an elevated quality, as though your refusal to break completely altered their entire worldview. Prior to witnessing your rise, they viewed life through a selfish, limited lens, but watching you walk away and rebuild yourself from the ashes permanently broadened their awareness. You introduced them to deeper concepts of self-worth and awakened a dormant part of their consciousness. that they cannot go back from. Now, driven by this sudden awakening, they are striving to outshine their rival to prove they are somehow worthy of standing beside you. Intriguingly, both individuals recall the smallest, most obscure details about you, cherishing every single word, action, and shared memory from the past. Thinking about you causes an immediate physical reaction in them, flushing their chest with intense, uncontainable emotion. They feel completely flustered, because the things they admit to others about you would leave them completely exposed if you ever overheard them. These are passionate, desperate admissions that reveal just how much power you hold over their thoughts. They share these feelings like weapons in their conflict, striving to prove who understands your depth best and who truly deserves to occupy your space. They speak endlessly about your presence, your magnetic charisma, your quiet uniqueness, and how deeply your silence affects their daily reality. They express a desperate, aching yearning to bridge the gap with you, frequently playing out vivid scenarios of what closeness and affiliation with you would feel like. Make no mistake, these are not casual, light-hearted observations. This is a serious, deeply emotional battle of egos and hearts. It is an intense rivalry where both parties are prepared to do whatever it takes to capture your focus. The depth of these discussions goes far beyond what you might imagine as you sit in your calm. Even when you are completely absent from their physical space, you remain constantly on their minds. The simple sound of your name or a passing glance from a stranger reminiscent of you immediately triggers an overwhelming avalanche of thoughts regarding the bond they lost. They actively search for cosmic signs connecting them back to you, replaying past conversations while daydreaming about possibilities that no longer exist. In their eyes, watching you walk away has elevated you to a prized, unattainable standing worth risking everything to reclaim. While there is a profound sense of inevitability attached to this dynamic, it is heavily overshadowed by intense competition, as both feel entitled to your heart. Specifically, one of these individuals has been reflecting deeply on your current well-being, feeling anxious about the state of your peace. They intuitively sense the heavy burdens you carried in the past and feel an overwhelming, almost aggressive desire to step in, reach out, and alleviate your stress. They possess an intense protective instinct toward you now, an instinct that arrived far too late. The thought of you bearing life's difficulties single-handedly bothers them deeply, and they desperately want to serve as your sanctuary. When life becomes overwhelming, they long for a genuine, permanent position in your world, aspiring to be the single most significant partner in your life. That ultimate outcome is the true driving force behind this fierce competition. They openly boast about your incredible fortitude to others, expressing genuine awe at how you managed to persevere through circumstances that were meant to destroy you. They admire your ability to manage countless responsibilities without falling apart, continuing to push forward regardless of the obstacles thrown in your path. They are utterly enchanted by your brilliant mind, your creative flair, your sharp individuality, and the captivating aura that naturally draws others toward you. Crucially, they share these compliments almost boastfully to anyone who will listen, as if trying to justify to the world why you belong beside them. No detail of your existence escapes their attention, and they eagerly recount your gifts to validate their own obsession. They find your expressive, honest communication style utterly fascinating and hold a profound admiration for who you have become. However, this deep respect often causes them to completely overthink their approach, filling them with intense anxiety over saying the wrong thing or miscalculating their next move. They are determined to present their best self, to secure your high opinion, and avoid making a poor impression that closes the door forever. Their greatest fear is that their competitor will step up first, say the exact right words, and persuade you to grant them access instead. That very apprehension speaks volumes about the immense power you hold over their peace of mind. People rarely agonize over their choice of words unless they are desperate to make a lasting impression on someone they value immensely. This person craves your focus, desperately wanting to earn your approval and become someone you look up to. They are acutely aware that another candidate is vying for the exact same place in your heart, leaving them feeling the immense weight of this rivalry. The recurring theme in their discussions is your composure during difficult times. They recognize the immense load you carry and remain deeply impressed by your historical resilience and current strength. Their attitude toward you is defined by pure wonder and adoration for your ability to remain grounded and steady amidst turmoil. You never surrender, always finding a path forward, and both are eager to earn the privilege of standing beside you as your partner. They long to be your support system as you enter the next phase of your life. The tribunal emphasizes that you underestimate your own radiance and the profound influence your presence carries. Their dialogue isn't petty gossip or malicious chatter. Rather, they hold you in the highest esteem, proudly proclaiming your greatness and their deep affection to anyone within earshot. Wildly enough, they are expressing these exact feelings directly to one another, fully aware that they are contending for the exact same outcome. But here is the core truth you must grasp. Your bond with one of these individuals transcends time. Physical distance, or long periods without contact, cannot diminish or erode this tie. The underlying link remains entirely intact. Even during prolonged silence, thoughts of you bring them to tears because of how intensely they yearn for your presence. One of them feels your connection deeply, yet attempts to maintain a calm facade despite being completely overwhelmed with awe. Meanwhile, the second individual is equally captivated and determined to win your heart. Pay close attention to this. This person harbors profound love for you and makes no secret of it when confronting their rival. Words aren't even necessary, as their protective stance, possessiveness, and adoration make their devotion blatantly clear. Both candidates are openly displaying their devotion, engaging in a fierce battle to convince you that they are the one worthy of your choice. This marks your personal renaissance. You are emerging transformed from the remnants of past heartbreaks, having stepped into a radiant state of being that dazzles them both. Shielded by divine intervention from past deceit, they recognize that your past experiences with manipulative and harmful people have yielded valuable spiritual wisdom. Both of them take immense pride in your resilience, each contending for the privilege of honoring your victory. They observe your progress attentively, not out of intrusion, but as devoted supporters, cheering you on from a respectful distance. They take comfort in seeing you progress, while those who mistreated you fade into irrelevance. Your true path is opening before you, eliminating any need to pursue anyone. As the abundant life you deserve naturally aligns with you, the person you have evolved into is truly inspiring, having shed past negativity completely. While they acknowledge the chapters of your history, their conversations center primarily on your present evolution and the promising future you have carved out for yourself. It is essential to comprehend the absolute reality of what is transpiring beneath the surface of your life right now. These two individuals are not merely entertaining occasional fleeting thoughts of you. They are actively competing behind the scenes, engaging in a silent war of strategy. One seeks to present themselves as the secure, stable anchor who truly comprehends the depth of your journey, while the other strives to demonstrate that they represent progress, evolution, and the capacity to help elevate your future into something extraordinary. Both are carefully planning their tactics, pondering their next actions, and calculating how to demonstrate their suitability to this court. Remarkably, both are consumed by thoughts of you from the moment the morning light hits their eyes until they fall into an restless sleep. You have captivated their attention entirely, and they cannot shake the phantom of your influence. The first individual likely monitors your digital footprint, scrutinizing your updates for subtle hints, hoping to find any sign that you might be contemplating them. Simultaneously, the second individual behaves with identical intensity, with both eagerly searching for any indication of your favor and wishing, above all else, to be the first to capture your exclusive attention. I sense that one person has been subtly dropping clues into the ether, hoping you will notice and initiate the bridge. They are acting with extreme caution, paralyzed by the fear that a direct approach might allow their rival to intervene, which leads them to wait expectantly for your move. Conversely, the second individual is adopting a bolder, more dangerous strategy, willing to take risks and challenge boundaries to win your heart. Recognize the immense, unshakable power of your position in this trial right now. Two distinct individuals are fiercely contesting for your affection, your commitment, your loyalty, and your future. The person from your past relies heavily on your shared history, while the new contender trusts in fate and potential. Yet both are striving wholeheartedly to win. You might view one of them as your savior, but in truth, the inspiration was mutual. You revitalized their spirit and altered their entire trajectory just as profoundly as they once did yours. The intensity of this conflict stems from the fact that both perceive themselves as your ultimate protector, leading them to question with increasing frustration why the outcome remains undecided. They wonder why a clear victor hasn't emerged when their feelings are so palpable. If you have questioned the sincerity of these developments or the reality of their emotions, be assured that the evidence before this tribunal is entirely genuine. These authentic feelings originate from two real individuals who firmly believe they are your rightful partner. You possess an unforgettable obsidian-like quality that inspires intense devotion, making you someone worth risking everything for. Over the coming days, prepare to receive an unmistakable sign that will leave you astonished. As this energy reaches its peak, you will gain complete, absolute clarity on how to proceed. However, expect to feel external pressure to make a decision when this sign finally appears. The tribunal advises you not to let their urgency force your hand before you feel completely, unreservedly ready. While both are eager and persistent, your true strength, your true power in this trial, lies entirely in your freedom of choice. You are under no obligation to rush a decision or declare a winner in their desperate competition. Take all the time you need to evaluate who demonstrates genuine, unwavering effort through tangible actions rather than mere emotional displays behind closed doors. Ultimately, anyone can express admiration in your absence or make grand declarations when you aren't around, but the true test of this entire trial lies in consistent presence, radical honesty, and reliability in the light of day. Look for the person who remains steadfast, beyond the initial excitement, the one who consistently chooses you daily, without hesitation or games. While you can take deep pride in your worth and the intense devotion you naturally inspire, remain firmly grounded in what you truly deserve. You merit a partner who builds a clear, unshakable future beside you, demonstrating their commitment through real-world deeds, rather than private declarations or hidden rivalries. This is your season of complete fulfillment and quiet victory. Embrace it entirely on your own terms, without taking on the stress or urgency of two people who woke up to your value far too late. Finally, recognize that the universe and this tribunal are actively overseeing this unfolding dynamic. Every private declaration, every desperate attempt at affection, and every point of conflict between them is generating powerful momentum toward a major, positive transformation in your romantic journey. Remain receptive, stay grounded in your peace, and continue to honor the sovereign individual you became the moment you walked away. Your primary commitment is to your own well-being, even as they fight for a seat at your table. Reflect on where your own heart truly lies, knowing you are divinely guarded, completely cleared, and stepping directly into your rightful reward. The verdict stands. You passed.